ودخل معه السجن فتيان قال أحدهما إني أراني أعصر خمرا وقال الآخر إني أراني أحمل فوق رأسي خبزا تأكل الطير منه نبئنا بتأويله إنا نراك من المحسنين.
And there entered the prison with him 2 young men. One of them said, Indeed, I have seen myself in a dream, pressing grapes for wine. The other said, Indeed, I have seen myself carrying upon my head some bread, from which the birds were eating. Inform us of its interpretation. Indeed, we see you to be of those who do good.
قال لا يأتيكما طعام ترزقانه إلا نبأتكما بتأويله قبل أن يأتيكما ذلكما مما علمني ربي إني تركت ملة قوم لا يؤمنون بالله وهم بالآخرة هم كافرون.
He said, You will not receive food that is provided to you, except that I will inform you of its interpretation before it comes to you. That is from what my Lord has taught me. Indeed, I have left the religion of a people who do not believe in Allah, and they in the hereafter are disbelievers.
واتبعت ملة آبائي إبراهيم وإسحاق ويعقوب ما كان لنا أن نشرك بالله من شيء ذلك من فضل الله علينا وعلى الناس ولكن أكثر الناس لا يشكرون.
And I have followed the religion of my fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And it was not for us to associate anything with Allah. That is from the favor of Allah upon us and upon the people. But most of the people are not grateful.
يا صاحبي السجن أأرباب متفرقون خير أم الله الواحد القهار.
O my 2 companions of prison, are separate lords better, or Allah the One, the prevailing?
ما تعبدون من دونه إلا أسماء سميتموها أنتم وآباؤكم ما أنزل الله بها من سلطان إن الحكم إلا لله أمر ألا تعبدوا إلا إياه ذلك الدين القيم ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون.
You worship not besides him except mere names you have named them, you and your fathers, for which Allah has sent down no evidence. Legislation is not but for Allah. He has commanded that you worship not except him. That is the correct religion, but most of the people do not know.
يا صاحبي السجن أما أحدكما فيسقي ربه خمرا وأما الآخر فيصلب فتأكل الطير من رأسه قضي الأمر الذي فيه تستفتيان.
O two companions of prison, as for one of you, he will give drink to his master of wine. But as for the other, he will be crucified, and the birds will eat from his head. The matter has been decreed about which you both inquire.
وقال للذي ظن أنه ناج منهما اذكرني عند ربك فأنساه الشيطان ذكر ربه فلبث في السجن بضع سنين.
And he said to the one whom he knew would go free, "Mention me before your master." But Satan made him forget the mention to his master, and he, i.e. Joseph, remained in prison several years.
وقال الملك إني أرى 7 بقرات سمان يأكلهن 7 عجاف و7 سنبلات خضر وأخر يابسات يا أيها الملأ أفتوني في رؤياي إن كنتم للرؤيا تعبرون.
And subsequently the king said, "Indeed, I have seen in a dream 7 fat cows being eaten by 7 that were lean, and 7 green spikes of grain, and others that were dry. O eminent ones, explain to me my vision, if you should interpret visions."
قالوا أضغاث أحلام وما نحن بتأويل الأحلام بعالمين.
They said, "It is but a mixture of false dreams, and we are not learned in the interpretation of dreams."
وقال الذي نجا منهما وادكر بعد أمة أنا أنبئكم بتأويله فأرسلون.
But the one who was freed and remembered after a time said, "I will inform you of its interpretation, so send me forth."
يوسف أيها الصديق أفتنا في 7 بقرات سمان يأكلهن يأكلهن سبع عجاف وسبع سنبلات خضر وأخر يابسات لعلي أرجع إلى الناس لعلهم يعلمون.
He said, Joseph, O man of truth, explain to us about 7 fat cows eaten by 7 that were lean, and 7 green spikes of grain, and others that were dry, that I may return to the people, i.e. the king and his court. Perhaps they will know about you.
قال تزرعون 7 سنين دأبا فما حصدتم فذروه في سنبله إلا قليلا مما تأكلون.
Joseph said, You will plant for 7 years consecutively, and what you harvest leave in its spikes, except a little from which you will eat.
ثم يأتي من بعد ذلك 7 شداد يأكلن ما قدمتم لهن إلا قليلا مما تحصنون.
Then will come after that 7 difficult years, which will consume what you advanced, i.e. saved for them, except a little from which you will store.
ثم يأتي من بعد ذلك عام فيه يغاث الناس وفيه يعصرون.
Then will come after that a year in which the people will be given rain, and in which they will press olives and grapes.
وقال الملك ائتوني به فلما جاءه الرسول قال ارجع إلى ربك فاسأله ما بال النسوة اللاتي قطعن أيديهن إن ربي بكيدهن عليم.
And the king said, Bring him to me. But when the messenger came to him, Joseph said, Return to your master and ask him what is the case of the women who cut their hands. Indeed, my Lord is knowing of their plan.
قال ما خطبكن إذ راوتن يوسف عن نفسه قلنا حاش لله ما علمنا عليه من سوء. قالت امرأة العزيز الآن حصحص الحق أنا راودته عن نفسه وإنه لمن الصادقين.
Said the king to the women, What was your condition when you sought to seduce Joseph? They said, Perfect is Allah. We know about him no evil. The wife of Al-Aziz said, Now the truth has become evident. It was I who sought to seduce him, and indeed he is of the truthful.
ذلك ليعلم أني لم أخنه بالغيب وأن الله لا يهدي كيد الخائنين.
That is so he, i.e. Al-Aziz, will know that I did not betray him in his absence, and that Allah does not guide the plan of betrayers.
وما أبرئ نفسي إن النفس لأمارة بالسوء إلا ما رحم ربي إن ربي غفور رحيم.
And I do not acquit myself. Indeed, the soul is a persistent enjoiner of evil, except those upon which my Lord has mercy. Indeed, my Lord is forgiving and merciful.
وقال الملك ائتوني به أستخلصه لنفسي فلما كلمه قال إنك اليوم لدينا مكين أمين.
And the king said, "Bring him to me. I will appoint him exclusively for myself." And when he spoke to him, he said, "Indeed, you are today established in position and trusted."
قال اجعلني على خزائن الأرض إني حفيظ عليم.
Joseph said, "Appoint me over the storehouses of the land. Indeed, I will be a knowing guardian."
وكذلك مكنا ليوسف في الأرض يتبوأ منها حيث يشاء نصيب برحمتنا من نشاء ولا نضيع أجر المحسنين.
And thus we established Joseph in the land to settle therein wherever he will. We touch with our mercy whom we will, and we do not allow to be lost the reward of those who do good.
وَلَأَجْرُ الْآخِرَةِ خَيْرٌ لِّلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ.
And the reward of the hereafter is better for those who believed and were fearing Allah.
وجاء إخوة يوسف فدخلوا عليه فعرفهم وهم له منكرون.
And the brothers of Joseph came, seeking food, and they entered upon him. And he recognized them, but he was to them unknown.
ولما جهزهم بجهازهم قال ائتوني بأخ لكم من أبيكم ألا ترون أني أوفي الكيل وأنا خير المنزلين.
And when he had furnished them with their supplies, he said, "Bring me a brother of yours from your father. Do you not see that I give full measure, and that I am the best of accommodators?"
فإن لم تأتوني به فلا كيل لكم عندي ولا تقربون.
But if you do not bring him to me, no measure will there be hereafter for you from me, nor will you approach me.
قالوا سنراود عنه أباه وإنا لفاعلون.
They said, we will attempt to dissuade his father from keeping him, and indeed we will do it.
وقال لفتيانه جعلوا بضاعتهم في رحالهم لعلهم يعرفونها إذا انقلبوا إلى أهلهم لعلهم يرجعون.
And Joseph said to his servants, "Put their merchandise into their saddlebags, so they might recognize it when they have gone back to their people, that perhaps they will again return."
فلما رجعوا إلى أبيهم قالوا يا أبانا منع منا الكيل فأرسل معنا أخانا نكتل وإنا له لحافظون.
So when they returned to their father, they said, "O our father, further measure has been denied to us. So send with us our brother, that we will be given measure. And indeed we will be his guardians."
قال هل آمنكم عليه إلا كما أمنتكم على أخيه من قبل فالله خير حافظا وهو أرحم الراحمين.
He said, "Should I entrust you with him, except under coercion, as I entrusted you with his brother before? But Allah is the best guardian, and He is the most merciful of the merciful."
ولما فتحوا متاعهم وجدوا بضاعتهم ردت إليهم قالوا يا أبانا ما نبغي هذه بضاعتنا ردت إلينا ونمير أهلنا ونحفظ أخانا ونزداد كيل بعير ذلك كيل يسير.
And when they opened their baggage, they found their merchandise returned to them. They said, "O our father, what more could we desire? This is our merchandise returned to us, and we will obtain supplies, i.e. food for our family, and protect our brother, and obtain an increase of a camel's load. That is an easy measurement."
قال لن أرسله معكم حتى تؤتون موثقا من الله لتأتونني به إلا أن يحاط بكم فلما آتوه موثقهم قال الله على ما نقول وكيل.
Jacob said, "Never will I send him with you until you give me a promise, i.e. oath, by Allah, that you will bring him back to me, unless you should be surrounded, i.e. overcome by enemies." And when they had given their promise, he said, "Allah, over what we say, is entrusted."
وقال يا بني لا تدخلوا من باب واحد وادخلوا من أبواب متفرقة وما أغني عنكم من الله من شيء إن الحكم إلا لله عليه توكلت وعليه فليتوكل المتوكلون.
And he said, O my sons, do not enter from one gate, but enter from different gates. And I cannot avail you against the decree of Allah at all. The decision is only for Allah. Upon Him I have relied, and upon Him let those who would rely indeed rely.
ولما دخلوا من حيث أمرهم أبوهم ما كان يغني عنهم من الله من شيء إلا حاجة في نفس يعقوب قضاها وَإِنَّهُ لَذُو عِلْمٍ لِّمَا عَلَّمْنَاهُ وَلَٰكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ.
And when they entered from where their father had ordered them, it did not avail them against Allah at all, except it was a need, i.e. concern, within the soul of Jacob, which he satisfied. And indeed, he was a possessor of knowledge, because of what he had taught him. But most of the people do not know.
وَلَمَّا دَخَلُوا عَلَى يُوسُفَ آوَى إِلَيْهِ أَخَاهُ قَالَ إِنِّي أَنَا أَخُوكَ فَلَا تَبْتَئِسْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ.
And when they entered upon Joseph, he took his brother to himself. He said, Indeed, I am your brother, so do not despair over what they used to do to me.
فَلَمَّا جَهَّزَهُم بِجَهَازِهِمْ جَعَلَ السِّقَايَةَ فِي رَحْلِ أَخِيهِ ثُمَّ أَذَّنَ مُؤَذِّنٌ أَيَّتُهَا الْعِيرُ إِنَّكُمْ لَسَارِقُونَ.
So when he had furnished them with their supplies, he put the gold measuring bowl into the bag of his brother. Then an announcer called out, O caravan, indeed you are thieves.